Okay, so once again, welcome to Leading Growth and Innovation in 2025. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Fernanda Correa, and I'll be helping out with the webinar today. We hope you get a lot of value out of this session, whether you're watching this live or on demand. And to talk about what's ahead for growth and innovation in 2025, we're happy to have here today Sonya Shorey, President and CEO of Invest Ottawa, Bayview Yards, and Area XO. She's a strategy executive and management consultant with more than 22 years of leadership experience with private and public organizations. Sonya has expertise in regional, national, and global technology, and has worked with entrepreneurship, economic development, and innovation-based organizations. She specializes in corporate and communication strategy development and execution. These include investment strategies to secure new cash and in-kind contributions from public and private sources. Since 2005, Sonya has developed strategies for and led, authored, and contributed significantly to successful multi-year funding proposals and initiatives valued at more than $203 million from municipal, provincial, federal, and international governments. Welcome, Sonya.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
Yeah, and talking to Sonya, we'll have Nilofer Erdebil, founder and CEO of Spring to Innovation. Nilofer is a TEDx Ottawa speaker and the author of the international best-selling book, Future Proofing by Design. She has dedicated her career to helping organizations achieve remarkable advancements through design thinking principles. So with that, I'll pass it over to Neil to start the conversation with Sonya.
Thank you so much, Sonya, for joining us. I'm so excited to have you here. I think partly because of the topic, but more so of you and how I've been able to see your career and your whole journey and the impact that you've had, not just within Ottawa, but within Canada. And so thank you so much for being here.
I am so excited. I am a huge admirer of your work and of you. You're an incredible leader in our community. So thank you for this opportunity and for everything you do to grow our economy and help people to innovate more impactfully. It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I know a lot of people might not know about your journey, so maybe we could start out talking about how much has been happening over the last, I don't know, I think, how long have you been with Invest Ottawa for?
I actually just celebrated my 9-year anniversary. I was a consultant for many years. Yes, my heart fluttered when I realized it had been almost a decade that I've been privileged to collaborate with this team, this organization, for a city and community I absolutely love, and I'm in entirely heart and soul to help drive and continue to fuel economic growth, innovation, and impact. I had the really great fortune of joining our global expansion team as a consultant, going out, and it was a dream job, pitching our city, all of our tech capabilities, our incredible expertise and experience to the world, to potential companies that wanted to make investments, greenfield investments, or continued expansion here in our region. And I focused on America. So I had the chance to go and pitch coast to coast within a lot of tech centers where a lot of fascinating companies were looking for the opportunity to expand, to find that right ecosystem, that right economic opportunity that would not just deliver economic impact to them, but also contribute to our ecosystem and to our city. So I've had the privilege of meeting a lot of different leaders and really understanding what our key differentiators and opportunities are here as Canada's capital, a global tech and innovation hub where we can bring to bear so many unique attributes and differentiators to create advantage. That morphed and evolved into a vice presidential role for strategy, marketing, and communications. I worked hand in hand with the Invest Ottawa team and so many partners. Nilofer, there are so many great collaborators, investors, leaders, and innovators across our ecosystem and more broadly across the province, across the country, around the world that we collaborate with because we're not your typical economic development agency. So I'm excited to discuss that too. When Michael Tremblay, our former CEO, retired or resigned and moved into an exciting new role at another great Ottawa company called Calian, there was an opportunity for me to put my hat in the ring and be considered for the role of president and CEO, which was the opportunity and privilege of a lifetime. I say it's a mission, it's a life mission. This is not simply a career or an employment opportunity. I see this as a huge golden opportunity to make an impact together with and for a community and city I love. And so it has been a true learning journey. Every single day is an adventure. Many, many dynamic things in our current environment that really emphasize the need, the opportunity, and the potential for us to have even greater impact together with founders, business owners, and companies here in our region for Canada that are really driving important sustainable change globally.
I love that. And you've had an incredible journey and leadership too, from your work with Invest Ottawa to also co-founding SheBoot and leading large-scale innovation projects. Can you share a little bit about what led you to focusing on driving innovation and economic development? And also for those that might not be familiar, a little bit about SheBoot as well too.
Oh, you know, I love talking about these topics. So I think economic development is an incredibly exciting opportunity to address both big moonshots and opportunities, as well as address in a really focused way big challenges. We're living through a challenging time currently. We had the pandemic as well. Certainly, there's many lessons and opportunities that emerged from those difficult times. I am definitely someone who believes in silver linings. So for me, I am driven around the opportunity to achieve impact in a collaborative fashion together with those who are like-minded that also want to see an economic, social, environmental impact that leaves the world better than the way that we found it, and certainly a more competitive economy, something that where everyone sees an opportunity for them to belong, to contribute, where we can help everyone to fulfill their potential and their dreams and make that meaningful contribution to our economy. I am more convinced than ever that Canada, as a country of 40 million, compared to others like the US at 330 million, if we don't give every single Canadian the opportunity to fulfill their potential and make that meaningful impact on our economy, we will simply not be competitive. So that's a big, big part of what drives me, is that big, audacious goal and potential to achieve that kind of impact, to play a role in bringing together and harnessing all the different skills and expertise we have. And actually, that's a big driver for why I'm so passionate about SheBoot, about our International Women's Month, about the programs that we serve that help founders and companies from every single walk of life to build and grow and generate great opportunity, profit, and impact for our country, for our region. SheBoot was really the vision of Julia Elvidge, Jennifer Francis, and I coming together, recognizing that we had a long, long way to go with respect to empowering and enabling women to acquire the investment that they needed to grow and thrive, that there were unique barriers that women founders faced, and that if we could design something totally novel where we helped more women become investment ready and also helped more women to get investing, because when more women invest, more women get funded. That was a unique formula that we knew we had to put into motion. And we didn't do it alone. We had an incredibly passionate community who gave of their own cash, of their own time. They shared their gifts and expertise, their networks. We came together back in 2020, turn of the pandemic, of course, unique time. We had 10 women that were really passionate about getting involved and contributing $10,000 each. We then looked at other women who had mentorship and coaching that they wanted to share. And step by step, with the Capital Angel Network and Invest Ottawa really leading that charge and formalizing a program that was 4 weeks back then, we took our first step forward and we helped to get 10 women more investment ready, had a pitch competition, entirely women funded, and then we started to catalyze follow-on funding. Fast forward 5 years, incredibly excited to say that we're now a standalone not-for-profit that is national in scope, that has had more than 50 graduates that have come through the program, dozens of investors, $1 million in women's capital, and what I believe I'm allowed to say is more than 35 million in follow-on investment for those women founders we've supported. The number is higher. I'm not permitted to share certain numbers because of NDA and different agreements. However, we are so passionate. And one of the most beautiful parts of it, Nilofer, is that at least in the last 2 years, 50% of the women who have come through our program have self-identified from many different diverse backgrounds. That's a huge step forward in helping every Canadian to fulfill their potential impact on our economy, to fulfill their dreams and create the type of opportunity that we know is so meaningful, that builds not just a stronger, more competitive economy, but a better world, a more sustainable world, a better environment, a better healthcare system. I tingle when I talk about this because it's such a passion project. And Jennifer Francis, Julie Elvidge, I'm so grateful that you had this vision together with me and that we came forward and have set off on this journey. And with so many members of our community, and most importantly, for the founders who are changing our world for the better.
I love it. And big fans of Jennifer and Julia as well, too. And I think I have a number of friends that have invested and just can't say enough great things about all that they have learned along their journeys as well, too, working with Sheboot. And so huge fan of what you've been doing there. And I've also had a chance to hear you speak on so many different venues. And you are so great in terms of bringing out the value that businesses are providing and really supporting the leaders within teams and the passion that you speak about, that you speak with as you talk about the companies. It's actually really engaging and contagious as well. Maybe I can ask you a little bit about how, when you're working with both private and public sector leaders, from your perspective, what defines effective leadership in driving economic development and innovation? And how do leaders balance short-term goals with long-term innovation strategies?
Oh, that's such a great question. And I've really been privileged over the last 25 years to work with a variety of public sector, nonprofit, and public sector leaders. And I think one of the greatest gifts and opportunities that we have in any economy is to harness and combine the strengths, the unique strengths and expertise and experiences that each leader brings. That collection of diverse technologies, sectors, lived experiences, perspectives, when you put that together on a particular challenge or a big, hairy, audacious goal or a moonshot, wow, that can be powerful. It can save you time, it can save you money, it can mitigate all kinds of risk. That sharing of the resources, everyone is bought into a shared vision, and there's always skin in the game. Everyone is invested, whether you're giving in kind, whether you're putting forward cash. But that combination, it's those intersections where I personally believe some of the greatest opportunities lie to do things totally differently and to have groundbreaking innovation that can change the world, that can make a big impact on an economy. And when I think about some of the projects I've been involved in, they have brought all of those constituents together. We do that every single day here at Invest Ottawa. We work with startups, with scale-ups, with multinationals. We work with all levels of government, with our post-secondary institutions, and together they create this incredible mix of ingredients that we can almost plug and play based on the type of challenge that we're facing. We have many, many challenges today. When we think about all of the experiences and the insight that has been shared by our clients and Invest Ottawa, for those who might not know us very well, we are here to help companies and founders create the economy, community, and economy of the future. I mean, it's really all about how we create those jobs, economy, and community of the future together. And so we have 5 ways that we support every step of the business journey. We help companies launch, grow, and scale. So startup, I have a little idea I'm scribbling on the back of a napkin, up to 100 million. We help to attract foreign direct investment in companies into our region and help multinationals continue to grow. Those are a really important part of our economy because they drive customers and economic value into our ecosystem that benefits our whole community, our whole city. We help to attract and retain top talent with our post-secondaries. I'm here at Bayview Yards, our innovation hub, where we facilitate a lot of celebration, education, and collaboration. And then at AirX.O, we help to commercialize technology safely. So when you look at all of those different avenues, it's all about supporting every step of the business journey, whether you're a founder, a business owner, or a company in any stage of development. There's always opportunities to tap into resources, experience, expertise, and many different coaches, mentors, and a lot of data that has now become available at our fingertips, not just through AI, but through all the collection of people and networks that are available to us every single day. And we like to bring all of that together and make it available for decision makers, for business executives, founders, and companies. In this current moment in time, the ability to be agile, to be flexible, and to look at that long-term vision that you have established. And I think that's one of the most important thing a leader does, is to set that vision and then pull all the resources, all of the people, all of the expertise together and put it into motion in a collaborative way where everyone sees themselves as part of that vision, has the chance to make a meaningful contribution to that vision, and achieve really big impact together. If you can bring that passion and inspiration and that motivation and all the resources together, and that's really the tricky part, honestly, in this current environment, that to me is a winning formula. But being agile and being able to adapt to the unique challenges that arise. There's a different challenge every single day currently in our environment, globally, nationally, provincially. There's a lot of change. There's a lot of uncertainty. We're really leaning in and listening carefully to what our customers have to say and the opportunity to help our companies do the very same, where they don't lose vision, that North Star that's guiding them, whether it's their technology roadmap, their business roadmap, but adapting and adjusting and making data-driven decisions today where they can actually address some of those immediate challenges without losing that long-term vision or that long-term goal. There's a lot of members of our ecosystem, including Invest Ottawa, a lot of our partners that are here to help that process along. But I can't emphasize enough agility, being nimble, looking at things differently and tapping into all kinds of different data sets, experts, networks to make the best decisions possible in a timely fashion without losing that North Star. It's almost that dual lens to try and bring to bear the momentum that you want to maintain, but addressing the immediate challenges without losing short sight of that long-term goal.
Yeah, I love that North Star, along with listening to what's happening right now and being able to move and be agile. And you kind of already touched on my next question around how does fostering people-centric approach help leaders to create sustainable innovation and impactful outcomes?
So an organization is nothing more than the collection of all of its people. The incredible expertise, the passion, the experience, they're at the heart of everything that we deliver. The value that is created through people. So the principle that I bring is how do we help every single individual with the corporate culture that we're looking to create and the shared values and the vision that we are all bought into? How do we give each individual a stake, an opportunity to make that meaningful contribution in support of something bigger that they might never otherwise have the opportunity to be a part of, to achieve or to deliver on? How do we help people to learn and grow in a way that's collaborative but has that personal and professional impact so that each day, each week, each month that you're working towards that big, hairy, audacious goal or that vision, you can see the growth in your team and in the people that you're supporting, and also by extension in the customers that you're serving and in the profitability that you're achieving, because an engaged, empowered team that is aligned on shared values, that's part of a corporate culture that everyone is bought into and they're supporting that shared vision, that's an unstoppable company. No matter what the challenge, no matter what crisis or climate we might be in economically, people are the greatest asset and they need to be nurtured and cared for. I work hard to be an empathetic leader so that you can work together with people through the challenges that they may be experiencing in every facet of their life. And when you demonstrate that care and that concern and you're working together, not just on the big corporate challenges, but you're caring for them as an individual, that builds loyalty and an opportunity to continue on that journey. Even if they choose to leave your organization, they'll be a champion, they'll be a referral, they'll be someone that is very passionate for you, even when they're outside of your immediate four walls, and they'll be working on your behalf as an ambassador for the long haul. And I think that's an incredible opportunity to give both ways, to give to the individual while supporting your own business objectives, but also looking long-term at how you create a corporate culture where absolutely everyone benefits when they're inside your organization and when they carry it forward on their journey beyond your organization. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And a lot of the companies that you have going through Invest, they start out as startups and then they scale up and then eventually are moving past or moving outside of Invest Ottawa as well too, and building that culture up front basically really helps make sure that it stays going forward in the long term as well.
It builds our ecosystem. Ecosystem is an interesting word that not everyone understands. And I think it's the incredible community, the relationships, and the collaboration that happens almost tacitly. You don't have to even direct it or organize it in many instances. One of the most beautiful differentiated things about our ecosystem here in Ottawa, founders help founders. And industry leaders help founders. I just see everyone leaning in to support companies that are up and coming. When you have the great big companies that are scaling, 100 million on, I take a cent, right? Andrew Waitman, the CEO, he was CEO of the Year here in Ottawa. He leans in, he works with us at Invest Ottawa. He mentors a variety of up and coming founders. He speaks to university graduates and students to motivate them in areas of technology that are critical to our world, inspiring them with courage and passion, and helping them to unlock the potential of entrepreneurship as a career path. We do that every day, but we do it never in isolation. We do it together with amazing people like Andrew and all the founders who believe in supporting fellow entrepreneurs here. One of the biggest opportunities I think we have as a region, and there really are many I'm passionate about, but the momentum we have here in entrepreneurship is incredible. Where other parts of Canada are seeing a reduction in the number of people who are launching businesses, we're seeing the total opposite. So we're hosting, our Ignition program, which is our very first stage of setting up a solid business foundation. We have 20 spots. It's a very interactive program where the value is delivered through that small group. We have 80 to 100 applications every quarter.
Oh, wow.
Off the charts. We hosted a co-founder matchmaking event, almost like a dating matchmaking, but for founders and entrepreneurs who were looking for a co-founder that maybe they needed someone with certain technological expertise or a business background. They thought they might get 50 people in December. We had 350 people register in 48 hours. It was mind-blowing. And so they cut off the registration. And it was the volume, the energy, the momentum in our foundry, our conference space that day. It almost made me cry because I could see how much untapped potential there is and how we have this opportunity to help harness it, broker those connections, and then support those founders in their journey in many different ways, because the entrepreneurial journey looks so different for each individual. It's a unique path. I love it. And I love this role. I love our ecosystem and the really incredible attributes that underpin it, that really are helping everyone to grow and succeed in many different ways.
That's fantastic. I think a lot of people might not realize for companies that start up and founders, co-founders that work really well together, end up growing their companies and then either exiting or at the same time starting other companies with the same founders and partners because they've realized that they work really well together. It's funny, you mentioned Andrew Waitman. He did teach actually in one of my MBA classes back in the early 2000s as well, a new ventures program. And so I know he's really interested in giving back to the community as well. And he's definitely not alone too. And that level of experience is invaluable for small businesses that are starting up or even scaling up as well too, because there's a lot of companies out of Ottawa that have significant impact globally. And in order to be able to get there, that support is really helpful. I've had a chance to chat with many companies in Invest Ottawa throughout the years as well too. And I'd love to hear, what advice do you give to startups and scaling businesses on how they can deeply understand their customers? And how does this understanding influence their ability to innovate and grow effectively?
So, of course, customer knowledge, the ability to understand who your target customer is, what they're looking for, what success looks like, what they're willing to pay for, all of these elements, absolutely critical. I'm going to just move around here in my space because I realize that here at Invest Ottawa, we have a LEED Gold building. And so if there's not a little bit of movement, the lights, of course, go out to conserve energy. So one of the innovations that we bring to bear here at Bayview Yards, I would say that in talking with founders, and of course, I have the privilege of working with so many different types of companies. direct customer engagement, consistent customer engagement, making them an intricate part of how you build products. If we don't have people that are really looking at building products for everyone, we will never have the type of economy and the type of offerings for everyone in our society. And so the ability to bring different types of expertise, lived experience to bear, understanding what the pain points are, the challenges, what customers are willing to pay for, building that in as almost part of the fabric of your company culture, of your core culture, that value for listening, adapting, being agile, pivoting, and continually iterating. This is something that we see a lot at AreaX.O, our R&D complex for next-gen smart mobility, where a company might come in and think they are going to pursue this type of application and commercialize it. And then as part of the testing and validation process that we're working with them on, through all the different infrastructure we have, whether it's a connected and autonomous vehicle, a drone, or a robot, there can be all kinds of learnings that unfold. And so doing that in collaboration with a customer, which is something that we're a big proponent of at AreaX.O, whether it's our regulator, Transport Canada, whether it's an actual end customer, or potentially a supplier that they're going to integrate their product into, we bring those stakeholders to bear so that it's part of the process all the way through, not a one-off, not an isolated engagement, but something that underpins the entire development process and then supports, hopefully, the adoption as long as that research and that listening capability has come to bear so that the iterations have been meaningful and have responded directly to the feedback that that customer or supplier or partner has given, depending upon the end goal of the company we're collaborating with.
Yeah, I've gotten a chance to see some of the prototyping that and testing that's been done in there too. And I'm glad you elaborated on AreaX.O because I think it was the fall that I got a chance to you guys were having a demo day, I think.
Yes, GC
Yeah.
Expo. We
Geez.
bring anywhere from 80 to 90 companies from Canada's capital across Ontario and throughout the country into our 1,800-acre complex in the Barrhaven area. It's on the Greenbelt, one of 3 sites that comprise AreaX.O to enable testing safely that advances the commercialization and adoption of really groundbreaking technologies being developed here in Ottawa and in Canada. So you will see it for all kinds of different sectors, from telecommunications to intelligent transportation, defense and security. Huge, huge opportunity for Ottawa companies and for Canada broadly. Environmental. It's such a diverse array of different technologies we see. And that whole day, honestly, Nilüfer, is dedicated to bringing potential customers, investors together with those Canadian innovators, entrepreneurs, and companies so that they can demonstrate and actually show you a working product, a working technology, and demonstrate how it would work in a real-world context, which is what we've created at AreaX.O with the support of so many generous partners, all levels of government, and our post-secondaries. That ability to actually see it work instills confidence, increases the potential for adoption, gives the opportunity for those companies to get feedback in the moment that they can then put to work to iterate and make their product even more sound, even more market ready, investment ready, customer ready. That's very exciting and motivating to me. And that is a unique enterprise that we have endeavored on as Invest Ottawa that I have not seen in my 25 years of economic development anywhere else in North America in the way that we've done it, where it's multi-sectoral, multidisciplinary, serving all types of local, provincial, and national innovators. You know, even students are post-secondary, right? We're inspiring the next generation of STEM talent, of entrepreneurs and business leaders by getting them exposed to the kinds of opportunities and technologies, how they're applied, and getting them hands-on in some of the testing and the validation and the projects we host with Transport Canada, with D&D, with public safety, as well as, you know, end customers, including some big multinationals like Nokia, Ericsson, BlackBerry, QNX, which were really anchor partners in helping us to bring this vision to bear. So it's really exciting.
I was so blown away that day, like just the variety of technologies and the industries that they touched and the combination of private and public sector being there and the feedback that the companies were taking from different areas and really on the lookout for opportunities to be able to expand into different sectors. If folks haven't been. It is a really cool opportunity. Yeah, and it's all here in Ottawa, and I love the support that they've gotten. I hadn't realized how large it had grown until I saw it firsthand.
You know, it's fascinating because I think it's one of the big opportunities for us to continue harnessing all the different technological strengths, sector strengths, all kinds of different companies that are here in the region. We help entrepreneurs scale their businesses. We help test and validate technologies that get them closer to market. We leverage AreaX.O to attract new companies and investment into our region, like Hexagon Autonomous Stuff, which is a massive and world player in the area of autonomy. They're collaborating with some of our startups and scale-ups. They've done work in co-ops with students coming out of our universities and colleges. It just creates this immense opportunity for so many different types of innovators, companies, founders, and for our region as a whole. Because the more economic activity that we're able to generate, the more we generate taxes that go back into the services, the quality of life that we rely on here in Ottawa. It's this beautiful integrated cycle. And I'm incredibly excited about the potential, particularly in areas like defense and Arctic sovereignty. Because here in Ottawa, you see, we have 4 seasons. Right now, we have about 4 feet of snow, I think, all over AreaX.O, and temperatures and wind chill and ice and sleet. All of these wonderful weather conditions that we typically never see as a competitive advantage, that in fact are. We can put those weather conditions to work to test technologies more rigorously to ensure that they are safer when they get to adoption, commercialization. That is a huge advantage when you think about some of the sunshine states where you see connected and autonomous vehicles, you know, whether it's Florida, whether it's Arizona or California, you know, we have very different climate. We have very different weather conditions. And the more robust that your technology will perform, the more market opportunity you have. So by being a 4-season track and a 4-season city, we have the opportunity to support things like new technologies that are going to serve us well in areas like defense, cybersecurity, and we talk a lot now about Arctic sovereignty and how we as a country need to do more on this front. Technologies like drones and robotics that have the ability to traverse that terrain and perform in very, very cold temperatures in all those weather conditions. Well, that's what we're all about. And that's one of the reasons I believe we were selected as a NATO Diana Test Center, which is a series of test centers that support all innovators and companies across the allied countries. We have 4 here in Ottawa, 3 at the national, at the NRC, and 1 with us at AreaX.O. We're the only part of the whole country that has a critical mass of 4 of those test centers. That's going to be like a magnet for more innovators, for more opportunities for collaboration, for business in defense, for innovation in defense, for our students, for our startups, our scale-ups. I am so excited because we are as a country going to be spending more to achieve that 2% GDP NATO target. And AreaX.O, NRC, our companies, 10,000 employees, 190 companies in defense here in Ottawa, and a global tech hub that's second to none. Wow, that's a golden opportunity for us.
I love it. And it's also, you were talking earlier about the ecosystems being key for economic development, and you've created multiple ecosystems in there where I think we have a comment in here too around the mutual give and take that happens in ecosystems. And so to have 4 of those centers is amazing too. As we're thinking about complex economic development projects, when you're working on these complex economic development projects, how important do you find it is to clarify at the beginning of initiatives? And then what role do you feel alignment of teams plays and stakeholders play in achieving the success?
Oh my gosh, it's absolutely critical. So to me, when I think about the most important success factors, having a shared vision that leverages and respects each voice, each set of skills, experiences, opportunities, and resources, where everyone feels an equal opportunity to fulfill their goals within something larger, where there's a clear understanding and a strong communication across all team members. When I look back, over the past 25 years, I can think about many different projects where if any one of those critical success factors isn't quite there, is sort of falling off the rails a little bit, it can derail the entire project, create immense risk, delay the project, cost more money, delay productivity. And it demotivates people. it can leave people heartbroken so that they don't even feel invested in that vision any longer, or they feel marginalized, or that they can't make a meaningful contribution. The moment one of those success factors becomes shaky, it's really critical for the leader of the project to come back together, to do that reset, and to ensure that the vision is clear, the roles and responsibilities are well defined, that the risks are identified, that there's mitigation strategies in place, and that we understand the goal and the impact that we're looking to achieve, and that everyone has a way to feel a part of that, that they actually aren't just someone who is there to witness it from the sidelines, but to actually be an active part of this. So when I think about some of the most exciting projects as of late, our Eric Transport Canada projects that bring together a multitude of startups and scale-ups, sometimes our post-secondary ecosystem players, students and professors and researchers, as well as Eric will look at a big goal like, safety at intersections, how we keep vulnerable road users, you and I walking through an intersection, having a sip of coffee, maybe walking a baby carriage or our dog, how do we keep them safer by leveraging the different technologies that are homegrown, that bring together a host of expertise, test them in a real world way that's very safe, and then bring those policy recommendations back to Transport Canada, create opportunities for procurement with the startups and the scale-ups that are working together with other companies that represent potential customers or suppliers, and Transport, who is the regulator and often has a role in helping to advance some of those technologies. That is a golden opportunity to advance the interests and opportunity for a company to have their technology enhanced and adopted, to make roadways safer because we're all working together in a way that's real and not in a closed setting with a whole lot of controls. Of course, there's safety controls in every environment that we plan for, but it's an authentic environment. We do it safely in our private test track first, and then we bring it out with the City of Ottawa, Transport Canada, and other collaborators into a real world environment with mixed traffic, with real human beings in a safe way that allows us to gather data and put technology and policy enhancements to work for the betterment of our society. I love that.
Yeah, me too. And I think people might be surprised to hear about some of those technologies that have come through Invest Ottawa and have been prototyped and tested in the city of Ottawa as well too. I know there's some really cool stuff that's been done for the bike lanes as well to mitigate challenges that there might be with both bikes and cars on the roads at the same time too. I wanted to make sure that I got a chance to ask you about what, as you see so many companies, as you're talking to private sector, public sector, and you have a pulse on what's happening globally as well too, what are some of your expectations for the Canadian economy in 2025? And yeah, maybe we'll start there. Let's start there.
You know what? I think it's a very unique time, and I know it's certainly very challenging. We look around us and we see the threat of tariffs. We see a lot of geopolitical disruption. We see markets and trade partners that we once relied on in such a deep way, that relationship shifting and changing, and the impacts on individual companies, on collections of companies, on sectors, on markets, on regions and economies like Ottawa. We're very leaned in, and the first thing we wanted to do was listen and really engage our community and try and understand the myriad of challenges. And it really is different depending upon the type of company you are, the type of sector you're in, the type of customers that you've harnessed. So uncertainty is one of the most dominant topics in our world currently when we're leaning in and having those discussions with our customers. But honestly, there's also a lot of opportunity. And what's really interesting to me is I see a level of unity and a mobilization, a galvanization of Canadians currently, and change that is now possible because of some of these external threats that I think that we've been struggling and wrestling with for decades. When I think about things like interprovincial trade barriers and the opportunity now to have real traction, real discussion, and the hope and the little seeds, I'll call it, of starting to dismantle some of it. I know it's a very, very big wheel to turn because of the different regulations and standards, but we're having those discussions now. We're talking about diversifying markets and not putting all of our eggs in one basket. We wouldn't counsel any member of our family, our children, or anyone that we cared about to put all their eggs in a single basket, whether they were making an investment or staking their entire business or their livelihood. Diversity is powerful. I see it in Ottawa every single day in terms of the different sectors where there's a lot of strength. And that means that we can weather different storms in a much greater way, in a more sustainable way. The more we diversify as a country and help our companies and our founders to diversify those markets, not simply looking at the US market. And of course we do. We will always need the US. We will need to reimagine that relationship. But I think there's a tremendous potential to better understand trade agreements, the opportunities in other parts of the world. And our global expansion team is really leaning in on that, helping companies right now to look at those diversification strategies with our venture team, looking at how they can re-vector some of their cargo shipments so they don't have to go through the US and face those tariffs. We're working with the airport, we're working with Ottawa Tourism, right? Pulling in different partners. Diversification is a big piece. I think as a country, I would love to see us give the opportunity for every single Canadian to contribute meaningfully. So I know that there is a lot of discussion today about diversity, equity, and inclusion. The whole heart of that initiative and that momentum was about economic opportunity, competitiveness, and benefit for all. And if we do that right, we will be stronger and more competitive as a Canadian economy. We will have more opportunity as a country of 40 million compared to 330 down south. If we don't do that, we will not have the critical mass. We will miss opportunity and we just simply won't be as competitive. So I would like to see an economy that really embraces that opportunity and drives that impact for all. And then lastly, procurement, domestic procurement, something that I know we have been partnering with, advocating for with many, many organizations and leaders across the country, not just here in Ottawa or in our entrepreneurship and industrial ecosystem, but with many policymakers and partners here and across the country. I would love to see the recommendations that have been made, and there are many that are very, very similar from a lot of the different champions and leaders. The more that we can do to encourage purchasing from Canadian companies that are homegrown, giving them that opportunity to scale with revenue here, to build deep roots, to keep their executives here so that they grow teams here, and all the economic impact that that will bring, and diversifying the type of things that we make, that we sell, that we create as an incredible technology-rich nation. Gosh, I just think we have the potential to gain so much productivity and impact. Is it difficult? Absolutely. And we are really leaned in to try and help companies and entrepreneurs weather those storms together with partners. But I see this as an immense opportunity, and that's really what we're focusing on, and where I think our energy and our focus will be placed through what will be a very dynamic few years.
I love that perspective. I think just knowing some of the initiatives that at least the federal government has been working on with provinces and municipalities in removing regulatory redundancy. This is just an extra push to have that moving even faster. And I love how you also phrased it too as an opportunity to open up to new types of customers that we might not have been thinking about before. And so to be able to expand beyond what we already had, sort of helping us get outside of our comfort zone so that we can actually grow even more and address markets outside of ones that we've typically been working with. And the world is changing and shifting to more of a global environment if it's not already there as well too. And so thinking globally makes even more sense right now than it ever has. I'm loving this conversation with you. We have time for one more of my questions, and I know folks on the line probably have lots of questions that they want to ask. So if you have questions that you want to ask, feel free to pop them in the Q&A. But I just want to ask you one more question. And so it might, okay, I'll do one right now. There's just so much I want to talk about. What challenges do you think businesses are going to be facing in innovation and economic development space, and how can they prepare for them? And I know you talked about the opportunities, but what are some additional challenges that they should have at the forefront of their minds, businesses and people looking to get into the innovation space in the near future?
So when I think about all of the conversations I have with different founders, our venture development team, so I want to convey that I am an active lifelong learner. So I'm listening and taking in, and some of the takeaways that I've had recently, capital efficiency is definitely a big one, and access to capital, how companies are prioritizing and protecting capital, reducing spending, looking much more squarely at profitability as opposed to growth at all costs, and restructuring in some cases to preserve cash flow. That's certainly, I often say that cash is king and queen. And so that's something that we're definitely discussing a lot with the growth coaches, the mentors that we have working together as part of our program suite. Sales leadership strategies. So we just talked about diversifying markets, how we identify new customers, perhaps look at adjacent opportunities, pivoting, looking at different ways to apply an innovation and perhaps pursue a new market opportunity that was never even on the horizon. That takes sales leadership and optimizing customer acquisition, retention, the sales processes, which can look totally different, particularly if you're diversifying your supply chain to mitigate the risks of things such as tariffs or finding new ways to source what you need. Big fan of shopping local, buying Canadian, of course, and that's a big endeavor. Improving that productivity with tighter budgets, being creative, looking at tools like AI. AI is a whole other topic that we could be here probably for many hours. Founders are really experimenting with how to employ it and implement it successfully in their business for a gain in terms of productivity, cost reduction, profitability. I think that's very much still a greenfield where different founders are sharing a lot of insights with others who are on this journey. We're all on this learning journey. There are new tools every moment, every day. And how you put them to work to gain the greatest advantage is still something that I think there's a lot of learning on, and how to do it safely with all of the cybersecurity challenges and risks. Alternative funding models are certainly something else that we're seeing a high demand for, and something that we're really encouraging founders to explore. Non-dilutive funding sources, seed extension rounds, government grants. We have an entire focus of one of our programs is around helping companies to identify those alternate forms of investment and funding that will help them to scale in a sustainable way without necessarily giving up equity, or helping them find the right capital, which has also become more challenging, to help them scale at the right time, doing that research. And operational efficiency, right? That really comes back down to some of the AI opportunity, how you transform your workforce. Roles are going to change and evolve. Having an AI-enabled workforce, key. Tapping into all the different types of soft skills, expertise, and experiences that can make you more competitive, differentiate you from your competitors. Something else that we're seeing a lot of momentum around. And I would say the last part is this concept of hybrid workforce, return to office. What is that magical formula? Right now, we're seeing a lot more of our scale-ups bringing people back in almost 5 days a week, because it creates a stronger corporate culture, more mentorship for newer employees with more seasoned employees, the opportunity to create, an everyday learning environment. It can be almost, that transfer of knowledge and new experiences is much richer when we're face-to-face and we're humans. So there's a natural loyalty that gets built when relationships are formed. That's a competitive advantage. And so we're certainly seeing a lot more shift. Not to say that some companies aren't maintaining that hybrid model to be flexible for their employees, but I certainly see that trend gaining momentum.
That's good to know. Yeah. And you touched on a lot of stuff that we love talking about and helping organizations with, around profitability, around the sales leadership as well, too, finding new customers that they might not be as familiar with, and also how do you retain customers, get new acquisition of customers as well, too, and then the corporate culture component of it as well. I have many more questions, but there's a whole bunch in the chat, so maybe if you don't mind, if I go through some of these.
Please,
When
yes.
is the next GC Expo?
Oh, okay. So I believe, I'm going to put this date out there. Please don't hold me to it, but I think it's going to be September 25th. I think it will be Thursday, September 25th. If not, it will just move 1 week to the first Thursday in October. But we are finalizing our date as we speak, and very grateful to all the companies, partners, government departments that have been so instrumental. This will be our 4th. And so it's going to be bigger and better than ever. And I'm very excited about the impact that we'll achieve together with you all.
Love that. Another question is, how much economic development value or FDI attraction potential is there in a municipality adopting technologies and products from its ecosystem for their own operations and infrastructure?
So I think it's immense. And so our global expansion team focuses on the Americas, Asia Pacific, and the European region. There have been almost 40 companies that they have soft landed in the last few years. I'm going to say last 4 years. I'm drawing numbers from the top of my head. A billion plus in terms of foreign direct investment attracted. What is more difficult to measure is the spin-off effects and opportunities that have become a part of our fabric here in Ottawa in terms of the economy, in terms of the co-ops that they have hired, the small businesses that they have supported with the employee bases that they have grown, perhaps some of the collaboration with the startups and the scale-ups that they have worked with, other investments that they have made, potentially in an important charity or in a particular part of Ottawa through the development of a facility or infrastructure. There's all of these immense spin-off effects because companies that land here, and autonomous stuff is just one example of many that our global expansion team have successfully brought, and that they help to expand. So we have a lot of multinationals here as well that continue to make investments too. And again, those same principles are true. It takes all parts of an economy to make it thrive. Our whole goal, our raison d'etre, is to drive and fuel the prosperity of Ottawa by helping entrepreneurs, business owners, and companies grow and succeed, because they are the rock stars, essentially, of our economy. And it's just a privilege to collaborate with them, and foreign direct investment helps to fuel all of that in many different ways, directly and indirectly.
I love that. Thank you. And another question is, with regards to inclusion, motivating and empowering users, are there any guidelines or resources you would recommend that are trauma or identity informed approaches?
We are working very diligently with a whole series of partners. We're on our own learning journey with respect to creating a culture and an ecosystem of inclusion and belonging where everyone has the chance to thrive. One example from the Invest Ottawa perspective would be our Women Founders and Owners strategy, where we have essentially taken a very strong lens and looking at how we design, build, execute our programs for that particular set of stakeholders, for that particular set of founders. Lots of learnings that I would share next Monday at our F Factor event, where I talk about our journey over the last 6 years with respect to the results and the progress that we've achieved together as an ecosystem on that front. I'm a big proponent and a member of CELAR, which stands for Canadian Innovation Leaders Advancing Respect. They are focused on empowering and equipping a technology workforce where every single member of our society, no matter what background you are from, has the opportunity to acquire those skills and to advance our economy in a very, very impactful way. That is a nationwide effort anchored out of Toronto. We have our Scale Up platform where Mars Communitech and Invest Ottawa share a lot of these learnings, work with our clients, the startups and the scale-ups, to actually help guide them and learn from them and with them as part of their journey to building out a more competitive team that's got lots of diverse perspectives that can make them more efficient, more productive, more impactful, and ultimately more profitable. So that's another part of the journey that we have been on. And working with partners that are from the actual communities that are doing the heavy lifting with that lived experience. So we work, for example, within our Black founder community with Changemaker Hub, Mona Bao doing brilliant work with Powwow Pitch and the Indigenous Business Hub to support Indigenous entrepreneurs with Immigrant Entrepreneur Canada, led by Carla Briones, a dear friend, an advisor, and a powerful immigrant serial entrepreneur, driving immense value into our economy and helping to equip so many new immigrant entrepreneurs, so many new businesses in Canada started by immigrant entrepreneurs. I can't emphasize enough, with and not for. Build with and not for. Do nothing without the members of those communities and supporting them throughout their journeys. We're on a learning journey. We certainly don't claim to have all the answers. We value every partner that has helped us every step of the way, and we have a long way to go.
I love that. Was fantastic. Thank you for that response. And just for those that don't know F Factor, and so every year is International Women's Day. Invest Ottawa started with a week-long sessions around women and And now it's grown to a month long. And so F Factor is the kickoff for the month of March for your series. So if folks are interested, you can check it out on Invest Ottawa's website as well too. I love that. And so if folks want to get in touch with Invest Ottawa and learn more about the services or how they might be able to bring some of their ideas into fruition, what's the best way for them to do that?
So investottawa.ca has the whole overview of all the programs and services available to every innovator, company, business owner, founder. I am a very avid user of LinkedIn, so of course, please feel free to connect to me directly on LinkedIn. We are here to support every founder and business owner and company through every step of their journey. And if we don't have that expertise, and we certainly don't have it all, we have an amazing network, an ecosystem, and group of collaborators and partners that help us every step of the way. It takes a village, and we're proud and so honored to be a part of that village.
Totally does. Yeah. And if you haven't had a chance to check out Invest Ottawa, definitely check them out. We are just going to close off in 1 second, Sonya, but the reason we have amazing folks like Sonya on board is to showcase design thinking and advanced design thinking in action, how important the people aspect of business and of our economy is. And so if you want to learn more about it, we have a number of courses that Fernanda will showcase that in a minute as well too. But if you do want to know more about how you can shift how you're thinking, feel free to reach out to us as well. And with that, Fernanda, maybe I'll pass it over to you to close off. Thank you so much, Sonya.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Neil and Sonia. Yes, I know we could stay here for hours, but we want to be mindful of time with people. Thank you all for joining us today. We really appreciate you sticking to us until the last minute. And just reminding you that we have a quick survey after you log off. So please reserve just 1 more minute to answer those questions. It's very valuable to us. And feel free to explore a lot of the content that we have on our website. We have our blog. We have lots of videos on our YouTube channel as well. And we can definitely help you on this journey to embrace those opportunities and go through those challenging times. We have lots of, we have courses, we can consulting and training to help you on this journey through this year. And if you want to also sign up to our newsletter so you can get informed about our next webinars or next events. And thank you so much for being with us today. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sonya, Fernanda. Have a great day.
You too.